I'm gonna show you guys today like my daily like route on these ATM machines, on like what I do on a regular basis to run like a 50 machine operation. I'm about to go to like the bank to go pick up some money and then go pick up some more money somewhere else in LA, because I have like a partnership on how I run these 50 machines. And I'll kind of explain to you guys like how this whole partnership works for some of you guys that are just getting into the industry, want to get into the industry, or trying to like just learn some new stuff on like how I run this stuff. Like, I'm gonna go behind those scenes a little bit today and kind of just show you a lot of what I do. And like, it's very freaking easy once you know what you're doing. But nonetheless, guys, let's go. I'm gonna show you what it's like to run a 50 machine ATM business. Cool, so I just picked up the money. So for those of you guys that don't know or are looking for like a bank, US Bank is the bank that I use. I also have another bank, it's called Co-America. There are special accounts specifically for ATM businesses, because I don't know, for those people who don't know, but like, if you go to your bank, you cannot withdraw more than $10,000. That's why like this whole entire like system is kind of like, is it like really real? Because if you go to a bank, banks have like reserves and stuff like that, but I don't know why they have like a limit on how much money you can pull out. And if you want to pull out more money, say more than $10,000, you have to like request it in advance, and there's the whole entire mess. But like, even getting an account, like, because there's like been people like trying to like, how do you call it, like, what's it called, like scam people out of money, or like, what's that word? I don't know what's it called, but it'll come back to me. Anyways, like, I have a special account with US Bank. I also have a special account with Commerce Bank. I think US Bank has gone all in on ATM owners just because there's very few banks that do it. And US Bank has been really good to me, honestly. So like, if you guys are looking for an ATM bank on what to use, US Bank is my recommendation. Commerce, I really just have it as a backup, but I haven't even withdrawn money from that thing once. The only reason I opened that bank was because my partner who I have this ATM route with, he told me like, hey, Commerce is like opening up ATM accounts. They don't rarely do it, but like they just want them right now. So like, hey, open one up, because you never know. Like, especially when you get bigger, bro. When you have like 50 machines, or even like way more machines, to get like 20 grand, dude. Like, it gets very, very tricky. There's some times when I have to like pull out 15, 20 grand, and I have to go like 2, 3 different banks, or like my bank has still just didn't get the money that day, and it's like becomes very, very hectic. But sometimes you do need an extra bank, because you never know what's gonna happen. So I just picked up my money, guys. My new bag is pretty freaking cool. They complimented me on my new bag today. Like, everyone kind of sees it, it looks childish, but honestly, if you know, you know. Yoshi's kind of like badass. I'm trying to see how much money is actually gonna fit in this thing, dude. I want to say maybe like 30 grand could probably fit in this thing. So I'm still kind of testing it out to see like, hey, did I really do a good investment on this backpack? Because my other backpack was like really, really ripped. But nonetheless, guys, yeah, so like, when you run this ATM business, you first have to get your money. So like, I kind of run everything through my phone, and I kind of show you guys later a little bit of like how I see everything on my phone, on how much money I have, how much money I could possibly get, how much money my machines run or like they need, and stuff like that. But I have to drive to like downtown LA right now and like pick up some more money, because it's like a drop off location for me and my partner. Not gonna probably show you that, because I don't want people to know like, hey, like, this guy does this and that. Plus, I also don't even want people to know what bank I go to, because things can get really scary when it comes to like online stuff. So like, you don't need to know where I'm at. Shit, if anything, you know that I live in Mexico, and that's all you gotta know. Cool. So I just got to my main location. I already voted like 3 ATMs, just because it's on my way to like my big route, which is around here somewhere in LA. I don't want to tell anybody, because honestly, if I tell you where all my ATMs are, you will really quickly know where they're at, just because it's actually in a really great location. But nonetheless, I usually come to like a parking lot. Like I have a deal with one of the parking lot owners where like, hey, I have a machine at your location, and you just let me park here for free while I go ahead and go on my walk and load my machines. There's so many different ways to like load machines. Everyone does it very differently. I'm a little bit more like risk averse, where like, hey, I'm willing to take like the risk of like someone like robbing me or something like that. That's why I try to stay very, very neutral in regards of like how I dress, how I look, things like that. I like when I walk up and down the street, people really don't know like I am either carrying money or what I do. I look like a bum majority of the time. Like right now I'm just like in like shorts. Like if you were to look at me, you'd be thinking like, who the hell is this guy? This guy's a nobody, like not doing anything. So I just mind my own business. I put my earphones on, and like people couldn't just leave me alone. I try to open up a machine really quickly, look at my surroundings, and like bada bing bada boom. But a lot of that starts with just like planning in the car. Like I already know which machines I'm going to, and that's why like I love the ATM business, because you can run everything through your phone. So there's obviously like different processors that you can use, but when I first started out, like having like 4 machines, it was very, very easy to like run. I was like, okay, cool. Like I just log into the app, look at the 4 machines, cool. Like around like $4,000, $5,000 quickly. Like, like it's cool, simple, easy. Then once I got to like 10, I started like, okay, cool. Like it required a little bit more planning. Now that I have like 50 machines, like it requires a lot more planning, and I've been learning a bunch of like tricks of like the guy who like I work with and partner up with. He's taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot from him, and now we're trying to even learn even more like how to manage money, how to like, you know, work together, things like that. And so far we're using like this Excel sheet. Like look, if you guys can kind of see, maybe those are all the machines that we basically run. Like you can barely see it, but it's on an Excel sheet. You can kind of see like the yellow and red on what needs what, and like what's needed, and like emergencies, things like that, color code stuff like that. So like when I get here, I have all my routes kind of separated, and like I look at the money, I'm like, okay, cool. I start separating the money right now, because there's sometimes where like I have to fill the machines with like 2s, which mean like 2,000, or like and like 1s, right, which is like 1,000s. So it depends. Like okay, like cool, he does his, and I kind of have to do mine in my head. Like I own some of them are his. So like one of the ways you can kind of grow in the industry is by voting for other people, and that's kind of like how I've grown in the industry, is just like voting for other people, which is more like partnerships. So once you start doing these routes, and once you start get accustomed to like, okay, like this is what my daily like routine looks like, and what my like routes look like, or how much money like my machines kind of push, you know how much money you should be putting into your machines. Like I know how much money I should be putting into every one of those machines. That way I don't run into surprises, and like I don't have like calls, especially from like the owner saying like, hey, my machine's out of money. So like you get the rhythm of it. So right now it's kind of just like planning, okay, like I need this, I need that, walk this way, walk that way, and then it makes my whole entire life easier. So there's some people that go ahead and like everyone has their locations separately. Like some people drive to the locations. Like the first 3 locations that I did, I drove, pulled up to the side, parked the car, grabbed the money, grabbed the keys, go to the machine, bada bing bada boom. I try to like not make too much of like a scandal, or kind of just be in and out where like nobody wants to do. One of the other things that I would kind of like tell people is try to like switch up the times that you go to, because I don't know, like sometimes people are maybe watching. I don't know, I've never been like put into a situation like that, and I hope I never do. But try to switch up your routine. Like today is like not usually my voting day, but like hey, like if I switch up my days and I show up a different day, or I show up at a different time, people kind of don't like, you know where I'm at all the time, and then you can avoid certain things to like happen. Maybe that's just me in my head and stuff like that, but like hey, the less risk you're gonna like take, the better, especially in this type of industry. So I'm gonna get ready to prep up, and then I'm just gonna walk down the street. I'm not gonna show you guys where I'm walking, just because you guys are really gonna know exactly where my stuff is at, and I don't want that to be in the internet, to be quite honest with you, because there's a lot of risk that's involved into running these machines, and like the less people know where my locations are at, the better. The less chances I get robbed, because a lot of people do get robbed in this industry. Like my partner, he just got robbed like a couple times like in the last couple months, and it sucks, because like that's a lot of money you can use, and that's the risk you kind of run into like running this business that most people don't talk about. It's like, hey, If you just got started, bro, and you get a new location and someone like looks at where you're installing and things like that, you're out money, you're out a machine. You can possibly be out like $5,000. And I know this from personal experience where like I just got a new location, literally less than 72 hours, someone stole my machine. Luckily for me, I didn't have any money into the machine because I didn't finish like prepping it, and it was like something that I had to like reconfigure. So I was gonna come back another day. Literally the next day I was gonna come back, and that same day at midnight, I guess they saw me installing or putting in the machine, that they decided to break into the store. And luckily I didn't put any money. I didn't leave any money behind. So like they just messed up my machine. But even then, like that machine was worth like $1,500. Like, bro, I'm out $1,500 just because some dumb people decided to do me wrong. And that's like the risk you kind of take in this industry. So just give me some time. I'm gonna go over there and then I'll be back. I just finished loading my freaking entire freaking route. It was like so many freaking machines. Luckily it was like a light day. I gotta go all the way down to like Ventura now because I have a whole entire route over there. It's like an hour and 20-minute drive, right? It's an hour drive. Luckily for me, I drive for a living, so driving is not really too much of an issue for me. Like that's why I kind of love what I do, because I'm never in the office. I'm just like out in the streets doing my thing and stuff like that. So I gotta go out to Ventura, go vote another machine. And I was like debating, like here's the thing, what I was mentioning earlier is like you have to know your machines. I have a new location that I'm gonna be installing this weekend, so like I already have the ATM. I already ordered everything for it. Hopefully the modem like comes in sooner than later. I'm hoping it comes in by like tomorrow or Friday. Anyways, like I'm installing this Sunday a new ATM all the way in Ventura, and I was debating it, and I'm like, okay, because I'm gonna go out there already, I don't want to go back out there again on a Sunday. Can my ATMs like survive just a couple more days, so then I could just load everything over there while I'm over there on a Sunday instead of having to go today, so I can finish up early? But there's this one location, like the one location that I have is a smoke shop. And for those of you that are like trying to figure out what locations are good, smoke shops are like the worst locations ever. Like it is like in the Bible of ATM business owners, do not get a smoke shop, because smoke shops are just terrible. Every smoke shop owner wants an ATM location, and I don't understand why. I really don't. But if you're not pushing money towards the ATM, like you're not gonna make money. And I'll make another rant about like ATM like location owners, not like whatever, you know, the business owners of where we place the ATMs. It's not supposed to be an income for you. It's supposed to be a service for you, and a service that you're supposed to go ahead and actually benefit from by taking cash payments. Because I don't understand how most people don't understand this. I honestly didn't even know this until like last year, how card processing work, which is like whenever you pay with your debit card, right, that merchant, that business owner pays a fee to the processor, and then there's fees and fees and fees on top of like all that stuff, and I'll talk about that a whole entire other day. Anyways, you can save thousands and thousands of dollars if you end up paying in cash. And most customers don't realize that business owners lose a lot of money whenever you pay in debit card. You're actually better off paying them in cash. So this smoke shop is one of a kind. It's like one of its kind where the business owner knows what he's doing, and he's actually pushing cash transactions. Like very few liquor stores, very few business owners push cash or incentivize clients and customers to pay in cash. This person does, and that is like one of my best locations to this date. Well, luckily for me, because I service him really, really well, he has another friend who owns another smoke shop who's going to be doing the same thing he's doing, which is pushing cash. And he asked me to install this ATM over there. So I'm installing this weekend. And this location, the one that I currently own, right, it's like at $1,500. It goes for like $5,000 in like a week. For some weird reason, this Memorial Day weekend, it went through like freaking $4,000 in just a weekend in 3 days. So I had to like make an emergency fill on Tuesday over there, because it was like down to like its last $100. And I'm like, bro, I gotta go do it right now, because this owner will get on me if I'm not like over there. And honestly, because you're bringing in like, for me personally on my end, you bring me in $400 a month. I'm gonna go all the way out there for a drive because I'm not willing to lose that location. And that's the different service that I bring. There's a lot of ATM owners who would be like, who cares? And honestly, sometimes for these small locations, the one that make me like 16 transactions, 30 transactions, I'm like, bro, I'll get there when I get there, bro. I'll get there on Thursday. Like, who cares even if I lose it? Like, I'm losing money just going over there with my time. But these locations, the one that's like, I have a couple locations that I will drive in the middle of the night just to make sure that you have money, because I need you to push. I need you to push. And I was looking at my phone and looking at how much money I had. I'm at like $1,500. I just went there on Tuesday and I put like $3,000. That means you went through $1,500 in like one day. Yeah, you went there in one day, $1,500. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're doing this weekend or what you're doing this week, but you are pushing money like crazy. So do I really want to risk it, or do I want to just make the drive? And I decided that I'd rather go make the drive. I'd rather go fill up all these locations, because there's a bunch of locations that I actually have to take into account. That way on Sunday I can kind of just chill, and all I really have to worry about is just installing. Because honestly, when it comes to install days, something always freaking happens. Always. Like, there's some type of mess up when it comes to install days. Knocking on wood, right? Knocking on freaking dollars that something doesn't happen this time. But I don't want to take my chances. I want to make sure that I take the time to install everything correctly. And I don't have any issues with that install. So I'm gonna go out there for a drive for 1 hour. I'm gonna take my freaking energy drink. So for those of you guys that aren't like me, if you're a gym head, you're like a crackhead when it comes to like caffeine. I'm like a caffeine crackhead, and I'm not sponsored by 3D. One day, hopefully, because like honestly, these new freaking drinks that you guys got going on, bro, like I don't know what you guys did, but you guys changed your whole entire business model and your whole entire flavors. Where like, I'm a big fan of Rockstars. Rockstars are like my go-to drink. And I don't know what it is. I bought a case because these things are freaking delicious. They have the minimum caffeine that I always look for, which is 200 milligrams of caffeine. 0 sugars, no artificial dyes. And it's like really freaking good, bro. Like, I was never a 3D fan. I started following Christian like on YouTube and stuff like that. Honestly, like him and like Chunny kind of like influenced me to like start making more videos and making more vlogs. So like I'm all like, all right, bro, because I like your content, because I like who you are, and because like I like entrepreneurs, bro, like I'm willing to try your stuff. And I'm a consumer of energy drinks, bro. So I try like every single energy drink. Like, I don't really care. Like, I'll try it just to see what it tastes like, bro. So I've tried pretty much every one of them. And if you sell me on the fact like this is really, really good, I'm a long-term paying customer, bro. Like, long-term paying customer. And this thing, the watermelon one, there's another one, I forgot, it's like the silver can. Both of those are delicious. I don't know what you guys are doing, but keep it up, dude. But let's get this drive, because there's like an hour of traffic, bro. Alright, so I pretty much like just finished my whole entire route. Got rid of like $40,000 freaking dollars in all of these freaking machines. That's the thing when you own like 50 or more locations, bro. You're not filling them all up at the same time. You're gonna have some stragglers here and there that don't require you to fill them up every single time. You know, that's why you kind of fill them up a little bit more so you can go there like every so often. So especially when you have a route like the one I have over here in Ventura, right? When I'm out here all the way in Ventura, they're all spread out. It's not like the ones I have in LA where they're all around the same place. Here I gotta drive different places, things like that. They're not that far from each other. Plus there's no traffic out in Ventura like there is in LA, so it's a lot easier to manage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I go out, kind of see what needs to be loaded, have my whole sheet, and then that's it. Because I do drive here, like I'm charging my car right now, so that's kind of like the cons of driving so much. But I just bought some freaking tacos, dude. It's part of the freaking diet. Honestly, these tacos are fire, dude. So I'm about to enjoy myself, probably watch a podcast, and then I gotta still get my steps in. I've only done like 6,000 steps, so I'm probably gonna go hit the gym, because the gym that I regularly go to is like under construction. So I gotta go to LA Fitness next, because honestly, like, we are on a fitness journey. So I'm gonna go get some steps in after this, and I just sold the roof over text message, so I gotta send over a contract. Still got a bunch of stuff that I gotta do, guys. Like, this is like my ATM day. It's not even actually my ATM day, but I decided to make it my ATM day just because I had to get stuff done, and I'm installing this weekend, so it is what it is. Let's go. Guys, welcome to pretty much the end of the video. If you guys made it this far, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. In regards of pretty much my whole entire day running an ATM business with over 50 machines, you guys kind of see it's mostly just driving because I've systematized it to be just driving. For me, I try to get my locations all in just one area. So I go to one part of LA, and that's where I have like a couple scattered in LA, but majority of them are all like together in one part of LA. And then I have to drive all the way to Ventura, and then I have to drive around all different locations. But majority of the time, running an ATM business just requires a lot of freaking driving. So if you're trying to get into the business and you're like thinking like, how am I gonna make this thing work? You do drive like a lot. Like, I have a ton of miles on my car. It's ridiculous. But for me, I drive for a living. Like, I could care less. Like, I love driving. It's better than being stuck in the office. Better being doing like computer work or stuff like that. Like, I'm out in the world just looking at things, and it doesn't even feel like it's driving or like I'm working or anything like that, because one, you know, I call the shots. I get to go whenever I want. In this video, I kind of started my day a little late. I know I went to the gym a little later too, but that's just to get my steps in. I had already gone to the gym in the morning, but it's kind of just boring, you know. Like, there are some days where like things happen and you have to like fix some stuff. That's why carrying a screwdriver, carrying some tools around, cleaning your machines, things like that is very important. But on a normal day-to-day basis, like, you're just putting money into your machine and that's it. Like, it's a really easy business. You can run it like one time a week, sometimes even 2 times a week if you have the capital. You run everything through your phone. As long as you keep everything so organized, it becomes very, very routine. That's why I kind of love it, where like I don't have to worry about employees. I don't have to worry about anything else besides the fact that I just need to have the cash and the capital to like put into the machines. There are sometimes like little headaches, things like that. Like, say for example, next week and next video, I'm actually installing a new ATM. So make sure you guys do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, because next video, I'm gonna explain to you when things don't go perfectly. Like, this was a perfectly good day, but there's days like in the next videos where it didn't go as planned, and it was like the worst week ever just trying to fix a machine. And these are the bad things that most people won't tell you. Not every single week is like this where everything's going smoothly. There are some weeks where, you know, it's gonna give you a headache and you're gonna wish you never were into the business, especially if you have to drive really far for your locations. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you guys love this video. If you guys have any questions in regards to the ATM business, hit me up on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, message me there. I'm more open to like sharing things there than I am on YouTube, just because I just kind of post for myself in regards of all of this stuff, and we'll see what we do.